How you doing, class? This is Dwayne West Jr. This is week 6, intro to public speaking. And during this week, we're supposed to give an informative speech on any topic of our choosing. Um, the topic that I choose to give my informative speech on is the United States immigration patterns throughout the years. I do have 4 credible sources that I've got my information from, with the first one being the Pew Charitable Trust. My second one is Wikipedia. The third one is Forbes.com, and the fourth one is 538.com. Let me just start off by saying the United States Census Bureau projects that net international migration to the United States will become primarily driver of the nation's population growth between 2027 and 2038. This brief examines current population trends among foreign and native born at that country level and highlights the role to immigrants playing in contributing to population growth and slowing population loss. This analysis does not examine the merits of population change, but instead focuses on where it's occurring. The Pew Charitable Trust takes no position on federal, state, local laws or policies related to immigration. Over the past 25 years, the total immigrant population has increased and spread across the country. In 1990, the foreign-born population was 19.7 million, or 7.9% of the United States total, with nearly 3 out of every 4 immigrants, which is roughly about 73%, living within the United States, in particular states such as California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, or Texas. By 2010, approximately 40 million immigrants made up 13% of the overall population within the United States. And the proportion of immigrants residing in the 6 leading states dropped to 65%. Over that same time, other states including Nevada, North Carolina, and Washington experienced large growth rates in their foreign-born populations. An examination of country-level demographic data reveals how immigrants affects population changes in specific regions of the country between 1990 and 2012. While the native and foreign-born populations grew across most of the United States during that period, there are some areas where the native-born population decreased. This brief illustrates how in some places people that were foreign-born individuals slowed overall population loss and even reversed it. This is consistent with past research that has found that immigration continues to shape the country's demographic area, particularly in newer immigrant destinations. The Chicago Council on Global Affairs has shown that immigration has migrated population loss in the Midwest at the state level and in metropolitan areas. Researchers reported in the journal Rural Psychological area that immigrants reduced population loss in non-metropolitan countries during the 1990s. This brief also explains how immigrants expands on previous research by providing a country-level analysis of the entire nation over 2 decades and presenting the demographic context for future research on the impact of immigration on state and local economicals and budgets. This information is relevant for a number of reasons. In addition to having the population to offset population decline in some areas of the country, immigrants can also compensate for the age of native-born population. The median of the U.S. population is rising, and the ratio of seniors, anywhere between ages 65 and older, to working age people from anywhere between ages 25 to 64, is increasing. Migration tends to abide by these trends by adding working age adults to the United States population. Nearly half of immigrants admitted between 2003 and 2012 were between the ages of 20 and 40, while only 5% were ages 65 or older. The size and makeup of the United States population has important implications for economic productivity, taxation, expanding. Immigrants are already disproportionately represented in the labor force with a share of about 16%, while they make up about 13% of the overall population. The Pew Research Center has determined that if current immigration trends and birth rates continue, then by year 2050, virtually all, which will be about around 93% of the nation's working age population growth, will come from immigrants and their U.S. born children. There has been a political concern about illegal immigration, particularly among older native-born Americans, as well as the rising voting power of Latinos, all but guarantees that immigration is an issue that will remain at the forefront in the run-up in the 2016 elections. Yes, despite the political heat, there is precious little dispassionate examination of exactly where immigrants are coming from and where in the United States they are headed to. Perhaps due to Mexico's stronger economy and lower birth rates, Mexicans are no longer as dominant in the ranks of new immigrants as in the last decade. Mexico is still the single largest place of origin of new immigrants, but from 2010 to 2013, Mexican migration to the United States dropped 17.7% to an average of 140,266 immigrants a year, according to the data from the United States Department of Homeland Security. Meanwhile, the inflow of Asia has increased. Immigration from China is up 25.8%, which is approximately 74,458 a year, and 10.7% from India, which is around 65,336 a year. Asia now equals the Americas as a source of new immigrants, with each accounting for 40% of the total amount. America's new African population tends to be well educated, considerably more than the national average. They are more than 60% more likely to have a graduate degree than other Americans. The vast majority are fluent in English and are fully one-third of those immigrants hold management or professional job levels. Not surprisingly, they are generally doing well in their country and ours. The places where they would most likely settle, notably New York, Washington, Houston, and Dallas, will likely benefit from their presence in the coming years. Ladies and gentlemen, that was my Week 6 informative speech on U.S. immigration patterns throughout the years. I hope you enjoy, and I look forward to your feedback.